Hi, my name is Jeffrey Schreck. I have a problem with CenturyLink. Um, and AT&T. I sent demand letters to CenturyLink before the deal went through with AT&T. They harassed me for 2 years, from 2023 to 2025. I sent them evidence of what they did to me. They harassed me. They discriminated against me. They knew about my disability because I was on the Affordable Connectivity Program at the time. Caused me pain and suffering, mental and emotional distress. I took pictures of every phone call, every text message, even the stuff that came in from their debt collectors. I have pictures of that. They told me back in April, when I called them to disconnect the internet, that they would send me a QR code. It took until July of the same year of 2023 for them to actually send me the QR code to send their equipment back. I sent them 3 demand letters because I feel being harassed for 2 consecutive years from them and their debt collector, that I should be compensated. I sent them the evidence. I sent them 3 demand letters, certified mail. No response from either of them. Oh, AT&T, I sent them a demand letter to their president, the president of AT&T, and I didn't get a response yet from him either. So they have my address, my phone number, my email, blah, 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 so forth and so forth. No response from either of them. I'm entitled to compensation because it went on for 2 years. I mean, I can understand if it stopped after before it even got to the 2 year mark. It didn't. It just kept on going and going and going. They kept on harassing me. Phone calls from them or their debt collectors. I would get emails from them. I would get phone calls, text messages, whatever, saying, they just caused me too much mental and emotional distress. My family witnessed what was happening to me because of what AT&T did to me. My sister at that time said she was going to get a lawyer to handle this, to take care of what CenturyLink was doing to me at the time. I kept on telling them. She says I said, something has to be done. They keep doing it. They keep calling me and calling me and calling me. She says, if they keep it up, just tell me and I'll do something about it. I told her, and she never got a lawyer for me to handle this. Never. Then I find out later on, no lawyer in Cheyenne, Wyoming will take a case against them. I've noticed where CenturyLink and AT&T have both had class action lawsuits against them. And the only way to get this resolved is either through a class action lawsuit, an arbitrator, or whatever they call that. I mean, I can't afford to do arbitration or whatever the heck that word is. With them having the evidence and them being told that I have witnesses, I sent them proof to CenturyLink. I told AT&T that I sent CenturyLink the evidence. I told them I have witnesses, but it looks like they're wanting me to go for a class action lawsuit. I mean, dude, if it goes into a class action lawsuit, and I know CenturyLink has to pay out billions to their lawyers if a class action lawsuit goes, if it turns into a class action lawsuit for them. And I'm pretty sure it's the same thing for AT&T. AT&T will probably have the same thing. So my thing is I'm gonna just, I don't know what to do. I mean, I want you guys out there to let me know what you think I should do. Should I file a class action lawsuit against both companies? All I was asking for was some compensation for what they did. They harassed me for 2 years. They discriminated against me for those 2 years. They caused me mental and emotional distress for 2 years. They caused me pain and suffering for 2 years. I had to put up with their phone calls for 2 consecutive years. And they believe that, oh, it's all right to do it to someone on that has a disability or whatnot. What if they do that to the same thing that they're doing to me, to you? It doesn't matter if it's a day, a week, a month, a year, 2 years, or whatever. I mean, I'm putting these videos out so that people know what happened to me. I want your comments. I want some feedback on what you think I should do. Some of your comments, put your comments, whether it's on YouTube, Facebook, or TikTok, because I'm posting this everywhere so everyone knows what happened. And I just don't want what happened to me to happen to you down the road. Because the way I see it, we all have to look out for each other. I mean, we are human beings after all. I mean, we need to respect each other. And what CenturyLink and AT&T, what CenturyLink started, isn't respect. It's total disrespect. And when you don't answer a demand letter, even if there's only one demand letter, and you don't answer it, and they give you a time frame to answer it, it's still disrespect. Still disrespectful. They should have answered the first one, at least, and with 3 of them, and none of them being answered. The same thing with AT&T. I just wanted compensation for what happened to me, and they don't want to compensate me. So I figure I'll put up the videos as a lot of times you guys are going to see me putting up duplicate videos. I'm just trying to get my point across to everyone out there. And and share this with your friends, family. See how anyone can help me resolve this, or comment on how I can get it settled. What do you think's the best way to go? A class action lawsuit, the demand letters, social media. I just want compensation for what they did to me. And now the way I see it, since AT&T bought a portion of CenturyLink, they're now involved. So I want compensation from both of them, because when you buy a portion of a company, you become responsible too, even though you weren't originally involved. I mean, seriously. So just share this with your friends, family, people you can trust, and let me know how I can handle this, how I can get the compensation that I deserve. And I do deserve compensation. I just don't want this to happen to people down the road who have a disability or don't have a disability. It could happen to anyone. They could raise your bill or whatnot, or double charge you. They don't care. As far as how I see it right now, CenturyLink and AT&T are both corrupted companies. They're corrupted. They don't answer demand letters. They don't answer anything until the news media picks it up or something. And then they're all, oh. I think we better pay compensation. When it goes to a news station and the news picks it up, like say CBS, NBC, or CBS, whatever, any of those news stations, then they're all like, oh yeah, now that it's public knowledge and it's on the news, we'll pick it up. So yeah, I just hope this will reach the proper people, reach out to a lot of people, maybe even the news media like CBS, NBC, or ABC, and have them do a story or whatnot on this matter. Well, like I said, if the news media wants to get a hold of me for any reason, I'll leave my phone number in a post when with the upload of this. Thank you guys, and please send me all your comments. Give me some comments on what you think I should do on this matter. Thanks. Hi guys, my name is Jeffrey Scrack, and I'm making this video to let y'all know. CenturyLink and AT&T, I've sent CenturyLink 3 demand letters and 1 to AT&T's president. No response. They don't want to respond. I mean, they CenturyLink harassed me for 2 years. 2 years, caused me mental and emotional distress, pain and suffering, discriminated against me because I knew about my disability. I feel like I'm entitled to compensation. They don't want to call me. I sent them my phone number. I sent them my email address. I sent them my home address. Of course, it's on the envelope and all. And no response from either one of them. No response. That's because they feel like they didn't do anything wrong. They feel like what they did to me is what they think they're allowed to do it by law or whatever. I mean, no. But causing me that and doing it for 2 years? 2 years of phone calls, of harassment from them. I took pictures of all the phone calls that came from CenturyLink in that 2-year span. I took pictures of their debt collectors calling me for 2 years. The text messages that came, I took pictures of those. I sent them the evidence that you have to and all that for all the demand letters. I told them I had witnesses. They didn't care. I don't care. Whatever. I feel like I might have to file a class action lawsuit against both CenturyLink and AT&T. I try to get double compensation since AT&T took over that portion of CenturyLink, or bought that portion of CenturyLink, I should say, the fiber optic, whatever it is. Anyhow, that's what I had, and that's where my problem is. I believe if this happens to me today, it might happen to you down the road. It doesn't matter whether you have a disability or not. I mean, it's like they really don't care how they screw you over. Whether it's whether it's a day from now, a week, a month, a year, they're going to screw you over one way or another. They're going to do something. And what they're doing to me is literally against the law. Discrimination's against the law. It's a felony. Causing mental and emotional distress. Dude, all of it's pretty much criminal. And filing charges would be another way to go, but hell, I don't think I want to do that. I'd rather do the class action lawsuit. But there's no lawyer here in Cheyenne, Wyoming, that will take my case. So I would need to get one out of town or out of state that would be willing to take this case against CenturyLink and AT&T. Because they need to compensate me for what they did for those 2 consecutive years that CenturyLink did this to me. AT&T just closed the deal February of this year with CenturyLink, with buying their fiber optic or whatever the heck it is. They put out billions for it. So, to be honest with you, I think, I believe I can hold them both responsible now, because since they bought that portion of CenturyLink, it's now on them as well. So, you let me know in the comments of what you think I should do, how I should handle it. Should I do a class action lawsuit, or should I... Just let me know what you think I should do in order to get compensation from these guys. Because who knows, somewhere down the road, they might even do the same thing to you, with or without a disability. Hi, my name is Jeffrey Scrack. I have a problem with CenturyLink and AT&T. I sent 3 demand letters to CenturyLink asking for compensation for 2 years of harassment, pain and suffering, mental and emotional distress, and discrimination because they knew I had a disability when I was with them, when I had their internet. I asked them to to disconnect the internet back in April of 2023. They didn't do it until later, but they still harassed me for 2 years with phone calls from them and their debt collectors. And I sent them evidence. I have witnesses. I got solid proof of what they did. And I sent it to them, and they didn't respond. And I feel that I'm entitled to compensation. What I was asking them for all of this was $5 million for compensation, because if it goes to court, if it would go to court and all this, all 5 of those combined is $5 million. So $5 million is what I want for compensation. So if anyone out there knows anyone that can help, friends, family, anyone who knows a way of helping me to get the compensation that I'm wanting, wanting, so I can get closure on this after I get my compensation. Let me know, because there's no lawyer here in Wyoming, Cheyenne, that will help. They won't even take a case against them, even though if they know how much I want for compensation. They're not willing to take it, because they're not willing to go up against AT&T or CenturyLink, for that matter. So, yes, They caused this problem, and starting in 2023, they didn't send me the QR code to send their equipment back until July of the same year, and charged me late fees. It took them 3 months, I think, 3 months. They sent me the QR code so I could send their equipment back. And this is after we sold the house, after my mom passed. We had to sell the house because we couldn't afford the mortgage. If you know of anyone that can help me, or knows it, or they know it, or do you know anyone that knows a way that I can get compensated for this, just leave some comments from either your friends, family, whatever, that can help me with this. The thing is, the only other way I'd know of to deal with this is to file a class action lawsuit. But even with that, the lawyers won't take it when it's against CenturyLink or AT&T. So, leave comments, and I just would like to know if anyone out there can help me with this problem. Thank you. Well, this is another video that I'm making. CenturyLink, April of 2023. I called them to have them cancel my internet. They told me they would send me a QR code to send back their equipment. I called them for months on end at that point in time. And from 2023, from April 2023 till July of 2023, and they finally sent me the QR code. They harassed me for 2 years with phone calls from them. Their debt collectors harassed me for 2 years with phone calls from them. They caused me mental and emotional distress, pain and suffering. The pain and suffering was caused by them due to the phone calls, blah, 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 blah. And they discriminated against me. They knew that I have a disability. I was on the Affordable Connectivity Program at that point in time. But they harassed me for a full 2 years. They felt like they didn't need to compensate me. This year I found out the debt is the money that was supposedly owed to them, even though they're the ones who screwed up with giving me like a late payment charge and all this. They charged me a late payment when I had it canceled back. I called them to have it canceled back in April, and they said they were going to send me a QR code. I sent them the evidence. I sent demand letters, and now AT&T has taken over that portion of it. I talked to a rep from CenturyLink. They said, you don't owe any money. Well, that doesn't cover the 2 years of harassment from CenturyLink and their debt collectors. I had to deal with them harassing me every single day for 2 consecutive years. And they think it should be forgiven because there's no debt. No, they shouldn't be forgiven. They should be held responsible and compensate me, like I said in my demand letters. because the way I see it, CenturyLink and AT&T are two corrupt companies out there who will take advantage of you. They'll double charge you. They'll 1 minute your bill will be one thing, and then they'll go up to another thing. I've seen all this stuff on Facebook where people are having problems with both CenturyLink and AT&T with customer service. CenturyLink and AT&T's customer service is poor. You know how people rate them with a thumbs up, thumbs down. Well, they got 2 thumbs down and they got 0 stars. That's because they're so corrupt. They're a corrupted organization. They're 2 corrupted companies. When they've done something wrong, they won't even admit they did something wrong. You know they did something wrong. I mean, I know they did something wrong, and I was demanding them to give me compensation for that 2 years of harassment. They don't want to do anything. They don't want to call me. They don't want to send me a letter or something where they'll do that. We can go into talks and negotiate something. The law's not on my side because I have that it's through AT&T and CenturyLink, or CenturyLink and AT&T. Lawyers won't take my case because they're too scared to take it. Here in Wyoming, they're just scared to go up against CenturyLink. But I've seen there is another place where another lawyer who actually took a case, and it was a class action lawsuit against CenturyLink. If I can get a lawyer with all the evidence I have, the witnesses I have, to go against CenturyLink and AT&T. Now I'm not just wanting compensation from CenturyLink, but I'm also wanting compensation from AT&T, because AT&T took over that portion of CenturyLink. I still think I should be compensated for the harm that was done to me. It's illegal as hell. It's illegal as hell. Discrimination's against the law, causing people emotional and mental distress, pain and suffering. It's all against the law. It's not even legal to do it. And they did it. Both companies are now doing it. So, the thing is, they need to compensate me for the harm that they did. Because if I think of it in a legal sense, I could actually file charges, criminal charges against CenturyLink and AT&T. And they would be forced to compensate me in that aspect. I mean, what if they do this to someone in the near future? Like, say someone that has a disability, or someone who doesn't have a disability, and they cause all this stress, all this mental distress and emotional distress, and cause them pain and suffering, and they discriminate, whether it's a disability or not, their sex, their race, their whatever, I think they should be forced to pay. I'd be forced to compensate people for the harm that they've done and that they don't even admit to doing. I've got evidence that will prove my case in court. There's no lawyer that wants to take it. They're too scared to go up against CenturyLink or AT&T. And that needs to change, and that's why I'm doing these videos, is so that it doesn't happen in the future with someone that has a similar problem or a problem with them, period. I think they should I believe they should be forced to pay compensation for what they did and for the length of time that it lasted. My situation, it lasted 2 years, and I should be compensated for the 2 years that they caused me mental and emotional distress, discriminated against me, harassed me, caused me pain and suffering. They should have to pay compensation for that. And I believe the sooner they get a hold of me at my either at my house address, my home phone number, my sister sent them my home phone number, or on my cell phone, which I'm going to leave in this video. It's 307-369-3516. If they get a hold of me and we get this matter taken care of and they actually sit down and negotiate compensation with me, I'd be happy. I believe both of them will need to compensate me, considering it started with CenturyLink, but AT&T bought it, and AT&T isn't listening to my isn't listening to me. Of course, they could be listening to me, but I don't know if they're listening to me. I think AT&T might be investigating it, but I don't know for sure. How would I know what AT&T is doing, or what CenturyLink's doing for that matter? Because no one's notified me by mail, email, phone calls, or anything. If they let me know how we can resolve, how they want to compensate me, and how they're going to go about it, I would stop making videos about CenturyLink and AT&T. I would just quit making them once they've compensated me for the mental and emotional distress, the pain and suffering, and the discrimination, which all of it's just straight out against the law. You look it up, it is against the law. They're all felony charges. They're all felonies that they're committing. They're committing a crime. And compensation is how I would resolve it. They need to compensate me in order to resolve the matter. And I'll just go on my merry way, and I personally won't have anything to do with them after this matter is settled and done. I'll never ever talk to them again or have any communications after this is resolved and after they compensate me. Well, that's all I have to say. I just don't want this to happen to other people down the road. The same thing. They're causing me problems, so what makes me think that they're not going to do the same thing they did to me to someone else, either days, months, years later? But my point is that they did it to me. What makes me think that they won't do it to all their customers all over the United States? And they're just getting away with doing it. They need to be forced to pay. I mean, anyone compensation for what they've done. It's the only way to resolve my matter with them, and it's the only way I'd be satisfied. An apology ain't going to do it. And telling me, oh, the bill's no longer there, that ain't going to cut it, because you harassed me for 2 straight years, nonstop. If it would have ended before that, and if I didn't take pictures of the phone calls on my phone when they called me, or the emails, text messages, or whatnot, I have all the evidence I need. I have the witnesses. I have everything I need. If it needs to go to court. But I want to resolve this without having to, for each of us having to pay lawyers' fees. It would be best if they tried to talk to me and negotiate a compensation price. And we talked about what the compensation should be. But believe it or not, I believe it's going to happen again to someone else. And that's why I'm making this. And they need to stop doing it. And they need to be forced to stop doing it to people. And people later down the road, like normal people with or without disabilities. It needs to stop. It's kind of like you know how the whites used to be against the blacks, the prejudice, the racists, the racism, and all that. It's similar to it, but it's not that. It's not racist. It's because, well, I guess it is racist, because having a disability, it's like I'm against him because he's got a disability. I mean, they shouldn't be allowed to get away with these kind of this criminal stuff that they're doing to people. To me, and they shouldn't be able to get away with doing stuff to normal folks out there that work 9 to 5 or whatever, or people on disability like myself, that they take advantage of and use and act like they didn't do anything wrong to begin with, when they know for God well that they know they did something wrong. Otherwise, I wouldn't be putting videos on there about them doing it. It's the truth. Why would I falsely put up a video about something they did to me? I wouldn't. No joke. They did this to me for 2 years, and I deserve compensation. It was 2 years of mental and emotional distress, the pain and suffering, the discrimination. They knew about my disability back then. I was on the Affordable Connectivity Program. It needs to be resolved, and they need to be the ones to resolve it and get a hold of me. Call me, write me, email me, whatever. And no apologies is going to fix it. They need to compensate me for this. And thank you all for listening to my rant on, and my truth on what CenturyLink and AT&T have done. Y'all have a nice day. Hi, my name is Jeffrey Scrack. In 2023, of April of 2023, I asked CenturyLink to disconnect my internet. They told me that they were going to send me the QR code so I can send back their equipment. It took me with months of phone calls to get the QR code, which wasn't issued until July of the same year. I had to put up with their harassing phone calls for 2 years. I had to deal with pain and suffering over those 2 years. I had to deal with emotional and mental distress. They discriminated against me because they knew about my disability. They just kept on harassing me with their phone calls to get their money. This year, I found out that the bill is gone, but I wrote them several demand letters, like 3 demand letters. They never responded to it. I feel that I'm entitled to compensation in some form or another. There's no lawyer in the state of Wyoming, in Cheyenne, Wyoming, that will take a case. It's like they're too scared to go up against CenturyLink or AT&T. AT&T recently bought out that portion of CenturyLink. People don't know that. I guess they don't watch the news where they put out those billions to buy out that portion of CenturyLink. Anyhow, with the men, I called them. I called them several times. I tried to get it resolved. I feel that they owe me compensation because it was 2 years of them harassing me nonstop. Phone calls. I sent them evidence and a demand letter, and they've never responded. I sent a similar one to AT&T since they took over that portion of CenturyLink. No response from them either. I mean, I feel that I feel like they should pay me some compensation. First, CenturyLink was harassing me with the phone calls, and then they had their debt collectors harassing me with phone calls and text messages. And I still have the text. I took pictures of every text message that I got back then. And it was on a daily basis where I was getting harassed. I have witnesses to my being harassed by CenturyLink and their debt collector. I got a couple witnesses because they witnessed me going off because of the harassing messages and harassing phone calls. It didn't end. It was a nonstop thing for 2 years, and they think just because I don't owe any money that it's resolved. It's not resolved. You harassed me for 2 years. 2 years. You didn't stop. You didn't offer me an apology. You didn't offer me anything. You just caused me all this mental and emotional distress, all this pain and suffering. You discriminated against me. You knew I had a disability because I was on the Affordable Connectivity Program at that point in time. They knew about my disability and they took advantage of it. I just want to make sure, this is why I'm uploading these videos, is so that it doesn't happen to someone else that has a disability or doesn't have a disability. Because these kind of people think they can get away with this, and it's criminal. It's literally against the law. If you look it up, it's against the law to discriminate, harass, cause people mental and emotional distress, cause them pain and suffering from their actions. I think they should be held responsible. I think there should be someone out there that will respond or help me out or help anyone out that's in a similar situation in the near future. I think these people should be held responsible. I think they should compensate people for what they did. Anyone that's been having problems with CenturyLink, they should be able to get compensated by CenturyLink or AT&T for what is happening to them. There shouldn't be any delays. I mean, lawyers should actually help them. That's why lawyers are there. They're there to defend people. They're there for lawsuits or criminal cases or anything. Lawyers should help. When someone's caused you mental and emotional distress, pain and suffering, discriminated against you, discrimination is age, sex, religion, blah, blah, and disability. There's also the Disability Act that nobody talks about. There's a disability out there for people on disability that mentions in there somewhere about things like this happening to people like me or others. I think CenturyLink and AT&T should pay out and compensate me for what they did, the harm. When you do something wrong, by the law standards, you either get locked up or you get a fine or you have to compensate people. I think they should have to compensate me for those years of harassment. I mean, to be truthful, it didn't start out as AT&T. It became AT&T when they bought that portion of the company, and I sent those demand letters months. The last demand letter months before AT&T even bought it, and they didn't even respond to it. I sent it in certified mail. They didn't respond, and the only way I can get a response is hopefully by doing these videos. Hi. I've come to the realization that CenturyLink and AT&T aren't going to compensate me for the pain and suffering, mental distress, mental and emotional distress, the discrimination, the harassment of all those phone calls from CenturyLink and their debt collectors over from 2023 to 2025. I just came to the realization that I should file criminal charges against both CenturyLink and AT&T. Maybe if they realize that it's serious, that I'm serious about it, they'll probably end up doing something. And what they're doing is criminal and it's against the law. So my plan is to file criminal charges in the court system against CenturyLink and AT&T. And I'll also bring the evidence to court for these criminal charges. I'll bring my witnesses to court after I file these criminal charges against them. I am not going to let them get away with it. I figure if I do the criminal charges and it goes all the way to court, and I go in with my evidence and my witnesses, then it can be resolved, and then I can get compensated in the court system. That's just how I'm going to do it. I'm just going to file the charges, and the court will force them to pay compensation. They, at this point, they would have no. If the court forces them to pay me compensation, there's nothing they can do about it. Especially if I win the case. And I'm pretty sure with my evidence as strong as it is, and my witnesses as strong as they are, I'll win this case. And it'll CenturyLink and AT&T will probably, people, when this goes public, I'm going to have the press cover this as well. And it's just what CenturyLink and AT&T deserve. They're not compensating me. They're not getting back to me. They're not getting a hold of me. They're not talking to me. They're not doing anything. They're not trying to resolve it. They're not getting a hold of me, calling me, sending me anything through the mail or FedEx or anything, saying, can we negotiate a price or whatever, blah, blah, blah. They're not doing anything. They're just being who they are. They're disrespectful. I mean, both CenturyLink and AT&T are both disrespectful individuals. Two disrespectful companies. When they do something wrong, they don't want to admit that they did something wrong. And that they believe that they shouldn't pay anyone any compensation for what they did wrong. Well, I don't feel that way. I feel that they should pay me compensation. And with me filing criminal charges against the two companies, they're not going to have any choice but to compensate me at this point. Plus, there's nobody here in the state of Wyoming that will take a case against CenturyLink or AT&T, because who knows why they won't take it. I mean, they're in the wrong. They committed a crime, pretty much. The discrimination, the harassment, the pain and suffering that they caused, the mental and emotional distress. And I had a disability, and CenturyLink knew this because I was on the Affordable Connectivity Program back in 2023. They knew I had a disability, and they took advantage of my disability. I feel that I'm entitled to compensation after all the demand letters I wrote. With a demand letter I emailed to AT&T later after they already bought that portion of CenturyLink. I think they should be held accountable for their actions that they cause. I think CenturyLink should be forced to pay out in one way or another to compensate me for the harassing phone calls for 2 years from them and their debt collectors. I have witnesses that witnessed the phone call that I had on speakerphone back in 2023. I sent CenturyLink evidence of their wrongdoing. I also told them in the letters that I have witnesses. And they still won't reply. They won't do anything to try to compensate me for those 2 years. It's like, the bill's gone. You don't owe any money to us, but I still feel that they owe me compensation for the 2 years of harassment, the mental and emotional distress, the mind games they were playing with me, the discrimination, the harassing phone calls. I mean, it's just wrong that they can get away with it, and no lawyer in the state of Wyoming and Cheyenne, Wyoming, won't take a case against CenturyLink, or AT&T. I believe I'm entitled to it. I mean, entitled to compensation, even though they're saying, oh, you don't have to pay anything. I still feel that I should be compensated for the 2 years of mental and emotional distress, the pain and suffering, and the discrimination they caused in that 2-year period from April 2023 till 2025. And all they can say is, oh, you don't owe any money. That's what one of their employees says. You don't owe any money. But yeah, how are you going to compensate? You should compensate me for what you did to me for 2 years. So that's why I'm uploading these videos, because I don't want someone in the future to have the same kind of problem that I'm having today with CenturyLink and AT&T. I feel that it's bad that people just get away with doing this stuff to regular people, people with disabilities, any kind of disability. I mean, whether they have a disability or not, doing this kind of stuff to them is illegal as hell. I mean, why would anyone take advantage of another person with them having a disability or not? I mean, harassing them for 2 years, and we can't do anything. We can't file a lawsuit against them because nobody will take the case. I feel that I'm entitled to compensation for what they did to me. That's all I'm going to say. And I just don't want some people in the near future to have the same problem that I had with them.